Beep, bop, boom. Say what? Say what? Say.
Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate.
That's new. Join me, my friend. How you doing? We are living la vida loca. Oh, do you mean the Dolce Vita? Was your idea?
Enjoy the intense flavor of the Lavazza Dolce Vita.
That's it. Is this Las Vegas? Yes. I'm confused. That is good.
What do you think we're gonna see? Lots of princesses. That thing? Yeah. And there's killings too. Whoa! And I heard at night all the stars come down from the sky and make your dreams come true.
For the next 15 seconds, this and every other Marco's menu price pizza is 50% off. They're 50% off all week, too. But wait, this deal is hot. Get 50% off all menu price pizzas, only at America's favorite pizza chain, Marco's.
As a person living with diabetes, I'm all about making
Marcos.
My progress is making
Hello.
help lower my A1C with the Freestyle Libre 3 Plus sensor. It's the little wins, baby.
Try for free at freestylelibre3.us/sharing.
Bro.
This is a fantastic fight at the very highest level.
We just signed the lease on our third shop. My assistant went to customink.com to get new uniforms with all the locations. He found great products, uploaded new art, and had boxes sent to all the shops. Custom Ink makes it so easy. Get started today at customink.com.
You has GLP-1 meds now?
Yes, Noom combines medication with healthy habits so you can lose the weight and keep it on.
Yep, GLP-1, starting at $149.
That's new smart. Noom, the smart way to lose weight.
Think you need a new roof? Think again and save thousands. We'll help you put off a high cost of a roof replacement for at least 5 years. Or 10.
Sometimes even 15.
We're America's most trusted roofer because we always try to save your roof rather than replace it. We'll restore your roof for a fraction of the cost of a new one. But don't wait. Your roof needs too much protective coating. It's too late. Call now or scan the code and we'll give you an assessment of your roof for free.
Welcome back to Around the Horn, coming to you from the Heineken River Deck at Pier 17.
And now, the comeback of the year and even more, the greatest in the history of the NHL. The Vancouver Canucks last night, playing for their playoff lives as well, needed to win. They're down 3 with 60 seconds left. You can't come back from that. How do you come back from that? Raccoon, Sooner with 7 seconds to spare. And then in overtime, sure, will stars collapse for sure, but how did Vancouver do it? Marcel Louis Jacques versus you.
I mean, Tony, entering last night, teams in the NHL were 0 for 21,344 when trailing by 3 or 4 goals with less than a minute left. They did not tie losses, all 21,000. This is something that has never been done before. You have to give credit to Vancouver for this. That was incredible. I mean, Dallas also kind of did something that has never been done.
Yes, no.
Poor defense and poor effort alone doesn't lose you a game. You have to take a win, and Vancouver took the win.
Marcel, maybe I gave you a gift because you were the first to go here. But that's a stat that's never been said before in the history of this show, and I appreciate it. 0 for 21,000.
Like Chichi always said,
how did Vancouver do it?
find the present moment and live
Yeah, to
within
put it in more perspective, even you said it was in under a minute. The record for how quickly a team scored 3 goals like that late was 3 minutes and 22 seconds. So they
Find the present moment and live within it.
And it was huge because they would have been eliminated from the playoff contention with a loss. This was going to be a tough day for the gotta beat the traffic crowd. The people who are always like, I'm not leaving until the final buzzer. A win for them. And guys, we talked about how cool this was. Coaches going forward until the end of time are going to be using this as an example when they talk to their team about no lead is insurmountable. This is going to live on. It's going to have legacy-like vibes.
I like that it's also not an argument against pulling the goalie too early, as some analytics-based hockey analysts have tried to advocate for. They were undeterred. They've given up 3 empty net goals to Dallas in that building this season, including one with about 2.5 minutes left in this game, and yet they stayed with it. Hold the goalie, extra attacker, and it paid off, and paid off, and paid off.
Yeah, I do want to give Vancouver credit, especially for doing this with their backs against the wall, but this was a choke job of epic proportions by Dallas. And by the way, the 3rd consecutive game in which they have blown a 3rd period lead. They are pushing into the playoffs, and this is a team that was just on the verge of winning their entire division.
Tim Callis show, not on today's program. I was using that warning. All right, we'll move on. 3 goals in 1 minute. To a 24-point NBA comeback. That's cool to say the leader. How the Bucks came back up Minnesota. They were down 95-71 with 10 minutes.
Not over SGA, cuz. No, we're not doing that, brother. No. We're not doing that, Cuddy.
What's this? Sake? I was wondering what sort of person leaves good sake out in the open.
Only a fool who has forgotten the cups. Tomiko gave me that bottle. We should celebrate.
Celebrate?
If we must spill enemy blood together, the least we can do is raise a cup. Let us talk. Get to know one another.
How about a game? We ask each other questions and have to respond with total honesty. If you don't, you drink.
This is going to end poorly for me.
Sing me something. I dare you.
Sing? Aloud? Oh, no. I would not do that to you, my friend. You know the scream of cicadas in the summer? My singing voice is like that. So I will drink, and you are welcome.
You drink to spare yourself.
Now, my turn. I'm already behind, so I might as well be bold. What is something you love? A place, person, memory. Something that makes you happy.
The smell of my auntie's stew. The way plum trees glow pink in the sunshine. My father's laugh. My turn. Tell me about one of your lovers. Come on, I've seen the way Tomiko looks at you. And that's only one person.
I am no stranger to love. But I have mostly kept to myself while in these lands. So far, at least.
Turn up.
Why do you ask? Is that a proposition?
Too complicated. I'd rather be your ally than your lover. Besides, I may have some companions of my own.
To being allies, then. And friends. Are we winning this game or losing? I cannot tell.
If the bottle's being emptied, we are winning.
Good morning. Have you seen Nawe?
Bro, what?
Why are you up on the roof?
Why are you so loud?
Auntie Tomiko told me it was the best way to wake you after a night of sake.
Do you regret it? The wind that blew you here?
Only the hangover.
I shoot my shot at that brick.
Sit for a year and watch and wait as Matthew Stafford still runs.
I shoot my shot at that brick. Oh no, no. Oh no.
Coming up, Cam Ward is nearly set to head to Nashville, but what about Shador Sanders and Jackson Dart? Find out where our guys feel the best landing spots might be for the next two quarterbacks off the board.
Y'all doing it, man.
Good. I wanted to talk to you.
What is it?
These new arrivals. Do you have a plan for them? And will you take in any stray that comes along?
They are others who share our beliefs. Sometimes we'll find them, or they'll
I
find them.
hope they are the only ones.
Enjoy the intense flavor of Lavazza Dolce Vita, also available in K-Cup pods.
What that mean? Infiltration coming soon.
You got the ticket?
Visit the only ticket company in the game that rewards you to watch. From concerts to sports and everything in between.
An entire pavilion.
Official ticketing partner of ESPN. 90 calories, 2.6 carbs.
Are you settling in here, Yaya?
I am. It's a feeling I haven't felt for a long time.
What is it?
It's the feeling of being able to change things. Honganji had that potential. But this is different.
I just wrote.
I'm grateful to feel this again.
Some people just know they can save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Is that your car?
Yeah. No. No.
Like you know, check your sunroof's closed first, before going through the car wash. Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first, and save even more when you click or call. You're in good hands with Allstate.
What's better than a limited time deal?
An unlimited time deal.
Tree 52, 60, 90.
Gage sharpened our blades. Shall we go and test them?
What? Rambunctious, rambunctious.
Yep.
Yeah, what the?
Rewrite that now. Major, obviously things have changed quite dramatically this afternoon with the president announcing the 90-day pause. I focused on two main elements in my piece. One was the size of the tariffs that had been announced, and that's now at least temporarily for 90 days been revised lower. Then the second was just the uncertainty that this trade war has created. We've heard from a lot of businesses that are saying we're nervous about investing because the environment is so uncertain. So I think the analysis on the inflation impacts of tariffs, you may bring that down a little bit if this pause endures. But right now we're still in a highly uncertain environment. So I hope we can get to a place where there's enduring clarity for markets and for investors and also for central bankers as we're trying to figure out the path of monetary policy.
And Neil, picking up on what you just said, does that uncertainty create problems for risk of inflation, risk of recession that are not dealt with by the pause in the tariffs?
Yeah, the uncertainty is one thing that could cause a downturn in the economy. So uncertainty by itself is not going to create inflation, but it could slow the economy down because if everybody pulls back and they don't spend and businesses don't invest, the economy will slow and in extreme cases could even tip into a recession. And so that makes me concerned about the underlying strength of the U.S. economy and the strength of the labor market. The Federal Reserve, one of our goals is to try to achieve maximum employment, so we watch the labor market very closely. The tariffs potentially can cause inflation. And so, we'll have to see, because the president, of course, announced a 90-day pause, higher tariffs on China. How is this all going to play out? Of course, we're going to have to wait and see.
So I want to read from your piece, Neil, with your permission. Given the paramount importance of keeping long-run inflation expectations anchored, and the likely boost to near-term inflation from tariffs, the bar for cutting rates, even in the face of a weakened economy and potentially increased unemployment, is higher. You wrote that. Is that still true, meaning the bar for cutting rates in the near term is still very high?
It is, in my mind, I'm only speaking for myself, it is high
This
because
would be
we've had 4 years
Right.
of elevated inflation. If we had had 4 years of 2% inflation or lower than that, then I would be much more comfortable saying, well, these tariffs are probably only going to have a temporary effect. But given that we've all lived through 4 years of inflation, and we're still not back down to our 2% target, that makes me nervous. We talk about this as a potential anchoring of inflation expectations. What that means is, if everybody expects high inflation, people actually adjust their behavior, and it becomes a self-fulfilling cycle. We want to make sure that happens.
You also write, and I want to ask you more about this, while market data for long-run inflation expectations have not moved much in recent weeks, there has been a sharp move upward in measures of near-term inflation expectations. And that is important, you wrote, to watch. We were just sort of teasing that out a little bit. What are you and the Fed going to be watching? What should ordinary Americans trying to guess the Fed's next move be watching?
Well, I think ordinary Americans are paying close attention to what's happening in Washington and in policy circles around the world, and keep watching all of that. I mean, the fact that ordinary Americans' expectations for what's going to happen to prices over the next year or two has moved
Stop
up
all that, Mr. Drummer Man.
in the last month or so shows that they're paying attention to these trade negotiations and that they understand that raising tariffs on things that we buy means raising the cost and the prices of those things. So I think the public is doing a good job paying attention, and those are the things we're going to watch. We're going to watch, is the job market going to remain strong? Our firms, I think, I'm
Don't even make sense, bro.
slowing down their
Where did they even go?
Are they going to
Come on, man. Where are we going here,
Are
bro?
they going to lay off? That's something
Where are we
also
going
to
here,
watch.
bro?
And then, obviously, what happens with these trade
That don't make no type of sense.
tariffs. We know what our jobs are. At the Fed, our job is to get inflation back down to 2% and to try to keep the job market strong.
Damn stupid.
Tariffs can push the job market down while pushing inflation up. And that's what's so particularly challenging about them from the monetary policy perspective.
You know, I was watching the financial stations today on cable, Neil, and there was a long discussion about, does this make the Fed more
Like, where is it going?
immediately or not? What light could you shed on that big question?
Well, it's so complicated. It's, with the Fed, we don't want to intervene in markets. We want to let markets correct themselves. There have been some pressures in markets in recent days, and in my judgment, those pressures are borne by economic
Come on, follow me.
So if the economic fundamentals get better,
Follow me, everything is alright.
because the negotiations get worse, then the economy will do worse. We want to
Come on over
prevent big disruptions from happening in financial markets the way we
Come on
saw
over
during
here.
COVID. But I think all of us, we would like to not have to intervene in markets, and hopefully the economy will get onto stronger ground. And I'm hoping that there'll be productive negotiations going forward.
Should I read that as these uncertainties create a kind of cautiousness within Fed deliberation?
Absolutely. I think many of my colleagues have been out the last few days saying the uncertainty gives all of us pause about what is the right next step. There's a case to be made that if inflation takes off, we could need to go higher on interest rates. Of course, if the economy weakens dramatically from these uncertainties that we've been talking about, that could bring interest rates down. But both of those things are possible at the same time. And that's what makes it such a complicated environment to navigate.
Neil Kashkari, thank you very, very much.
Thank you, Major.
Reshaping American Healthcare next. More from Dr. John LaFouk's interview with Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. You're watching American Sense.
I will cut you in two. I will spill your breath.
Faith strengthens my body and mind.
Good old fashioned tea bag, boy. Bro. Good old fashioned Lipton tea bag. Bro.
Is that an overreaction?
Yeah, that's an overreaction. I mean, look, nobody's saying that Aaron necessarily guarantees, or rather, like, he's the missing piece.
Don't raise the
They
alarm.
can then get into the playoffs, and not only get into the playoffs, but win a playoff game and deal with the cream of the crop in the NFC. So he does give them a better chance than what they've had. He does level up the position. That's why they're sitting there and they're holding out hope that he will sign with them, because he is a level up. I mean, that's what we know. But yes, an overreaction to say that they get over the playoff hump and all of a sudden become a top-notch, top-tier contender.
Marcus Spears, your Cowboys still looking for another wide receiver to pair with CeeDee Lamb. If I said they have to draft a wide receiver in the first round, is that an overreaction?
Yeah, that's an overreaction. I think at the position of one, you can find guys potentially in free agency or late in the draft. We've seen receivers have a tremendous amount of success that haven't been taken in the first round or early. But also, there's positional need, and wide receiver is one of them. But I would prefer them shore up some of the positions that they lost, i.e. being Zach Martin deciding to retire only.
A lot of needs there to fill in Dallas. One more in the NFC East, Lewis. If I said the Giants, who are picking third, would be crazy not to draft a quarterback there, is that an overreaction?
Yeah, it's an overreaction. Look, they really do need to make sure that they're getting true value for the position, for the number 3 overall pick. And if they don't believe that a quarterback represents good value at the number 3 pick, depending upon who's left on the board when it comes time for them to pick, then don't force it. Those situations always come back to bite you. You need the whole organization aligned. You don't want to force that kind of pick. That right there is a fair